The memories of me growing up, right, as from a student to an adult, was very focused on some historic places in Singapore. And I think the National Library was one of those places where we progressed through the years. You know, from teenagers we became like students, and then from students we became working adults, and it really became more like a meeting point for us because it was so central. Well, I have to go quite far back because I think my first time to the library was when I was a teenager. And you know, if you remember, the entrance to the National Library was this flight of steps. They were all made of bricks. And what we liked about it was like a hangout point, a meeting up point. And we used to see a lot of people there, and we would make arrangements to gather at the front of the steps. And that was when I was probably in secondary school, early secondary school. So a lot of guys in my cohort would just meet up there, at the same time check out a lot of the people who were milling around the steps. And that was the most poignant memory of my first experience at the National Library. I remember the steps were very significant to me because one day when I was waiting for my friends, I spotted a girl, right, who was sitting on the top of the steps, on the edge. She looked like she was studying, or she appeared to be studying, and it was very interesting because I felt like I wanted to go up to talk to the girl, and now I remember now that there was a point where I wanted to introduce myself to the girl because she looked very attractive, and she looked like a studious sort, so I thought maybe a good chance to get to know her. But before I could introduce myself, all my friends came, and then we went for Mantan Mee. So when I came back after that, she was gone. So that was one of the incidences where I remember very fondly that there was this opportunity to get to know a girl during my student days, right? And I missed the opportunity because I was too slow to make the introduction. So that was one of the fonder memories I have of the National Library steps. The building was really old, that's what I remember. I guess that's what drew me to the National Library as a social meeting point, because it had this very old historic feel to it, and it was all made of bricks, so it really stood out from the nearby architecture. You will see there's this courtyard right in the middle, and I think there was a cafe there. So right in the middle of that courtyard was a Victorian-style fountain, and it was white in color, so it was very peaceful. So a lot of us would just sit around there and just chill out, and it was a great chill out place to me. I believe many other Singaporeans share different memories of the National Library as compared to what I experienced, but the journey, I would say, is one of discovery and one of fondness, because it was a place that we could always agree on. It was easy to identify, and we could just say, hey, let's meet there at the steps right next to the Wanton Mee store, and it was a perfect meeting place. So to me, that was the most lasting memory I had of the National Library.